For the latest news and updates on Tibet, subscribe to Yarloon YouTube channel. And don't forget to click the notification bell icon.
In 2021, the Canadian government imposed sanctions. I'm wondering whether or not you think that those were effective, if you think that that effectively helped the situation there, or what more Canada could do in that situation that may also be applicable to the Tibetan situation.
Whether the sanctions are effective or not, I think depends on the level of sanctions, because China is huge and the economy is huge. So, and one thing that you have power on is your own people, your own businesses. So you can definitely tell your businesses not to invest in Tibet or Uyghur where they're using forced labor or those kind of things. But imposing other sanctions on China, I don't know how effective that is, because they will have a lot of other avenues to avoid implications of those sanctions. But you can definitely tell your business people not to invest in Uyghur or Tibet where they are.
And I think we can do much more in this country in that front. There's certain pieces of legislation that have come forward by different individual members. I think the government has been slow to bring that forward, that legislation. So I'm hopeful that individual members will bring forward legislation that will be much more effective in that front. My final question. You spoke a bit about having a discussion with the global community about the situation in Ukraine and the impacts of that on how the situation in Tibet is perceived. I'd love to hear more about that if I could.
We are still trying to learn from each other how they perceive the evolving crisis in Ukraine and what implications whatsoever post-Ukraine will have on Russia and its relation with China, and what role China is playing right now, because every one of us knows that the Chinese are also now translating what is going on in the Chinese social media, and Chinese social media is very controlled by the state. So what state allows the people to speak about and what they should not allow to speak about, that's very clear. The Chinese government supports Russia, and I have a feeling that they have an understanding between themselves. There are a lot of talks about the Chinese not very happy with Russia invading Ukraine even before the Olympics is over. It seems they had an agreement. But Chinese are also very afraid of secondary sanctions from the West. So I think we have to understand that we are not the butter all the time. We have a Tibetan saying, the butter and the stone. You store the stone at the butter melts, and you store the butter at the stone, also the butter loses. But you should not think that. I think the international trade here with Canada also, you import 25 billion. You export 25 billion worth of goods, but China imports more than 77 billion worth of goods. So the trade imbalance is very stark. Even if there is a trade war also, it's China going to lose. It's not just one side. It has to be both ways.